It's been a while since I've pulled out Hafiz, and I want to share a poem of his with you tonight called Deepening the Wonder. It's about old age, one of my favorite topics. He says, "Death is a favor to us, but our scales have lost their balance. The impermanence of our body should give us great clarity, deepening the wonder in our senses and our eyes of this mysterious existence we share and are surely just traveling through. If I were in the tavern tonight, Hafiz would call for drinks, and as the master poured, I would be reminded that all I know of life and myself is that we are just a mid-air flight of golden wine between his pitcher and his cup. If I were in the tavern tonight, I would buy freely for everyone in this world, because our marriage with the cruel beauty of time and space cannot endure very long. Death is a favor to us, but our minds have lost their balance. The miraculous existence and impermanence of form always makes the illumined ones laugh and sing." I've always thought that old age is really a mercy to us. It's funny how attached to these bodies we are, that to the level that they have to degrade before we're willing to let go of them has always been a little bit of a humorous aside to me. Just how tightly we cling to them, and how death is such a natural part of life. I met a man dying of AIDS when he was 27 and I was 27 at that time also. And we happened to be almost doppelgangers. He looked almost exactly like me. And I went to visit the hospital, the AIDS ward, Wing 5, I think, in General Hospital in San Francisco, just to go in and be company, to some of these folks. And I remember going into his room and seeing him sitting there and hearing him tell me that he was supposed to die within the next 2 weeks. And he was only 27 years old, and I was really overwhelmed with that thought. Because we looked alike and because I was the same age as him, I just really felt that empathy, and I felt a sense of terror at losing my life so early. And I told him, I said, if I was you, I'd be terrified right now. How are you feeling? What is this experience for you? And I remember him telling me, he said, well, at every other point in my life, I've always had a little bit of an idea of what was coming. He said, I've always been an adventure seeker. And he said, really sitting here, facing my mortality, I realized in my life, I've never really been on an adventure, for the very fact that I always sort of knew what was going to happen, whether I was on vacation or doing extreme sports or whatever I was engaged in. For my adventure, it was never really an adventure. And he says, as I've had time to sit here and think about my own death and the fact that it's so imminent, that it's, very close, he said, I've gotten a little bit excited, because for the first time, I'm really going on an adventure. I have no idea what's going to happen or what's going to be next. And he said, quite frankly, I've come to look forward to it. And I thought to myself, doggone it, that's the way to die. That's the way to die.